welcome to episode 4 of the Naughty Bits podcast. Look, there's Joe over there.
And there's my lovely friend Ed over there. I've missed you.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
He hasn't missed me.
Sorry, I should have said that. You're right. Absolutely missed you, Joe, of course. So what's this podcast all about, the Naughty Bits podcast? Well, what would you say, Joe?
Well, I think it's all the things we couldn't say on the radio. There's lots of things, all our podcasts are always about nudity and pooing yourself, weeing yourself, all sorts of things like that. But things that we couldn't really say on the radio that our bosses didn't like, that said it wasn't family friendly. But we don't swear.
Funnily enough, most of the things Joe just mentioned were things she said on the radio, which might be the reason why we're not on the radio anymore. I don't know.
Do not blame me. It was you that squirted milk out of my bra. Oh, no. I squirted it at you and you drank it.
Well, I don't like waste. So, as Joe says, it's where we share all the stories from our lives that we'd only ever tell to our closest friends, but instead just share with you as well in the naughtiest way possible, all in the name of entertainment. Just having a little bit of a laugh, really. So, Joe, let's start with your trip through airport security, shall we? Because Joe's been on holiday. I know, how glamorous.
Yeah, I know. I've been on holiday like most people in the summer, and my husband booked most of it, and then I booked a second part of it. And of course, the second part didn't go to plan. But that's another story. But the first part is we got on cheap flights. We had to go all the way to Luton to get on this cheap flight.
How much are you saving rather than going from Birmingham, which is your nearest?
About 150 quid.
So is it worth it for the travel to Luton?
Oh, yeah. And also just for the accent, Luton Airport, all the Lutoners.
Oh, that does it for you, does it?
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so we get to Luton Airport, we go through, and because we're tight, we don't ever put bags in the main hold. We take carry-on luggage.
Saves time doing that.
Saves time, yeah. And so, but the only thing is, you have to have travel stuff, travel size to put in hand luggage. You can't have anything over 70 mil. But I'd got my HRT gel that I needed to take with me. Paul said to me, for God's sake, don't forget that, because I can't have you being a biatch the whole time you're on holiday. Make sure you slap it on everywhere. I said, okay. Anyway, obviously it's a prescription from the doctors, and you can see, you know, when you have that sticker on from the doctors that it's prescribed.
Oh, okay.
So I put it through, you know, like you do in those boxes, and they scan it as you go through the airport. And at the end, the man went, you, over here. So I had to go over. I was like, oh, no, normally my underwire sets the bleepers off when you walk through. So I have to be frisked, which I love.
Sure.
And especially... Oh, I don't know if I can say that. If it's a girl, I don't know why. It just feels really bad.
So you'd rather be frisked by a woman than a man?
Yeah, I just love it. It's like, you know, no women normally touch me up, but it was quite nice.
Changing sides and seeing what it's all about.
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay. So then the man calls me over, gets my HRT, and I said, look, that is subscribed. You cannot throw that in the bin, because if it's over 100 mil, they'll just chuck it in the bin. They don't care what it is.
They're harsh, yeah.
So what they did is she said, hold on, we'll have to do an experiment. They went and got some litmus paper, put my HRT, I was like, hold on, that cost me £28 a bottle, and squirted it all on this paper to make sure that it really was HRT and not some naughty sort of other gel.
So what would they expect? What, do they test it then?
They tested it. They tested it. They put like stuff all over it on this special paper, and they said if it turns pink, a bit like a pregnancy test, then this isn't the real McCoy. And I was going, but it is. And Paul was going, please, we have to take this with us. And my 8-year-old was going, HRT, hormone replacement therapy, to the man. He's going, I know exactly what it is, my lovely. He said, but I have to test it. But anyway, they tested it, and I said to them, bloke, you better wash your hands, otherwise you're going to grow buzzwhackers there.
The instant, is it? They just pop out. So, he's there. I went to work a man, I came home a woman. So the PPI deadline is done. It's gone now. So if you haven't already put a claim in for the PPI, it's finished. It's over. And actually on deadline day, I finally managed to get my parents to put their PPI stuff in. So
wow, they might get a load of money.
They might, because, I mean, well, they're old. They've been around for ages. Yeah. They've taken out loads of loans.
Yeah, they're a bit like me, because I'm old, and I tried to do the PPI thing way back to 1986.
Well, I think that's what they've kind of done, but they've managed to keep all their paperwork. You weren't quite so well organised, were you?
Well, I couldn't remember where I I'd lived. And I'd lived all around London. I've lived in Kent. I've lived in Nottingham. I've lived absolutely everywhere. So I had to keep phoning my friends saying, can you remember our address? And remember when we were working together back at the radio?
Oh, yeah. That's how long this has been going on for, because we've not been on the radio for 2 months now.
Yeah. And so I was going through it from about January.
Yeah.
And I kept going to Ed, how do I get on Google Earth to look where I lived? Oh, yeah, that's definitely where I lived. This is definitely where I lived. Then I had to get my mum to post up my old address book that I had like 35 years ago to find addresses. So I went through the whole PPI thing. I filled in the forms. I even got my husband to check the forms because I'm not very good at doing things like that. I even wore my glasses to fill the forms in.
Serious stuff.
I had about 10 loans. I thought, my God, I was expecting 40, 50 grand.
Well, you hear some of them. I heard actually Martin Lewis when he was talking about it on Deadline Day, and he said that from 6 loans, one guy got £112,000 back. And I was thinking, yeah, you've taken out loads of loans. You've been around forever as well.
Yeah.
So you've got millions, Jude.
Yes.
You could top that. You could be the record holder for the biggest claim back from PPI.
Well, as I kept saying to Paul, don't worry about me not having a job. I'm going to be a millionaire, Rodney. Everything is going to be absolutely fine. And I've got everything in my Amazon basket that I've ordered ready for when my PPI comes
Just wait
in.
for the money to drop in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a total of, wait for it.
Here we go. Okay, dramatic pause like they do on the X Factor. Joe, you got your PPI money back. How much exactly did you get?
£115. I was like, I phoned up the bank. I said, oh, are you having a laugh, mate? Have you missed a zero off here? 100, and then I have to give the man 20%.
Oh, that's before.
So I've got to give him 20% of that. I cannot believe it. I kept saying, you're sure? Are you sure? And Paul kept saying, you must have filled the form out wrong or given the wrong address. And there's no way you can go back now. That's it. Because there's no more PPI, is there? I'm gutted.
Gone.
I had spent the money in my mind. I'd even thought, with all that money, I could put a deposit on another house and rent the house out, all stuff like this. But I got £115.
I think you can still do that because they are selling houses in Stoke for £1 each.
No.
Yeah, because nobody wants to live there. Sorry if you live in Stoke. But
Shall we go and buy one for £1?
You could buy a whole street with your money from the PPI. You're fine.
I have got a question about PPI because I'm really worried about the people that used to sell PPI. You know, like the people I've gone through. They won't have a job. They'll be skint like us.
Oh, they're in prison now, yeah.
They're in prison?
Yeah, they're all in prison.
Why are they in prison?
If you sold PPI, they're coming for you. You're in prison because they missold it, didn't they?
No way! I'm glad I'm not in prison.
They're not really.
Though
in
you
prison.
do get free food and you get to watch DVDs, I've heard.
Well, to be honest, as I've been out of work for so long now, I was thinking if I committed a crime, maybe being in prison is a good option for me. Talk ice cream.
Oh, let's. I love it.
Do you know, if ever I meet somebody and they don't like ice cream, I think I basically go, that's a stain on your character because I think you're weird if you don't like ice cream.
Yeah, who doesn't like ice cream? It's the best thing ever.
Ice cream universally is the nicest thing that everybody likes, don't they?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Now I've got young children. I feel I've become reinvigorated and opened my mind to new flavours and things like that because my son just wants to try every ice cream flavour.
Oh, he's like me. I'm the same. Because back in the day, you only got plain, really, didn't you?
Oh, I know. It's very exciting. So we go to ice cream vans a lot, which I never would have done when I was an adult without children.
No.
You just don't do,
no.
really. And then you try all various different ones, like Fabs I've tried, a Knobbly Bobbly as well. I love a Knobbly Bobbly. Can't get enough of those. But I finally found the greatest ice cream flavour of all.
Now, hold on a minute. I know about your greatest ice cream flavour because I have tried it. Back in the day when we were on the radio, Ed and I made each other an ice cream flavour, didn't we? And I did you a curry flavoured ice cream.
It was all right, actually, that. Better than I thought it was going to be.
And then Ed made me try his ice cream, which was delicious.
You loved it, didn't you?
I did love it. I feel really bad saying it.
Joe was like, oh, this is so nice. It's really like, I don't know.
Melony.
Like melony.
Yeah.
And like a cantaloupe melon or something like that. It's really tasty. Ed, what have you done to make this? So then I revealed that really you and, at the time, because I only had one child, you and my son Christopher are the only people in the world to have tried this ice cream flavour.
I can't believe you're going to say it again.
Because I made it with my wife's breast milk.
I can't believe. And every time I look at Lou, I think, you are beautiful, Lou. And I've tasted a part of you.
And Joe always thinks, I want some more.
Stop it. It was so good. Had like that caramaki taste to it as well. I can feel it going down my throat right now.
No. Well, we're going back to official ice cream flavours, ones that you can actually buy in the shops now. So I have found the best ice cream, full stop. In fact, I enjoyed it so much and I'd forgotten it. It's like a taste of being a kid again.
Oh.
And I've not had it probably for about 15, 20 years. And I wasn't even sure they'd made it anymore. But we had this ice cream because it was on special offer, and I love a special offer.
Of course.
Yeah, and we had this ice cream and it was so tasty. I ended up going down like one of those wormholes on the internet, finding out how it was made and everything, 'cause it was just really fascinating to me. Let me just say one word to you. Viennetta.
Oh, I love a Viennetta.
Isn't it the
I
greatest?
love a Viennetta.
Now.
And you get the chocolate round the side of it as well.
Do you remember that when we were at school, there always used to be this rumour that Viennetta was the sweepings from the floor?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I looked it up online, because I thought that can't be true. Something so delicious could not be a floor sweeping.
Please don't tell me it is.
No. The conveyor belt Viennetta, how they make it is just hypnotic.
Right. So how do they do it?
So basically, it's one long conveyor belt, and it's just like Viennetta. And so you've got
I want to roll in it.
They throw the base layer on, which is obviously just ice cream.
Cream, yeah.
And then they pour liquid chocolate
Oh
over the top
my
of that.
God.
So it's coming along, and it's just one continuous line of Viennetta.
Oh my God.
And they're just adding layers, and then they pipe on top of that. So there's a machine that just
Oh my
pipes.
God. How can we get to the Viennetta factory to get a summer job
And then
there?
you slice at the end once you've got the final layers on there.
love
And then the
Viennetta.
Viennettas go off all in different directions to go in their boxes and then go into my mouth.
And we could just stand there at the end of the conveyor belt with them shooting through our mouths.
I mean, it was a thing of beauty just seeing it again as I pulled it out of the box. And what a piece, what a thing. And it was just so, and the feel of it in your mouth for the first time, just how whipped it is, how creamy, and then the crunch of the chocolate. Oh, it's just the greatest, isn't it?
You're making me go all shivery shoe.
Nowadays, they do all these different fancy flavours for Viennetta. I went original because
Yeah.
I want to appreciate the beauty of the actual, just raw Viennetta. And introducing it to my 3-year-old son, what a moment. I mean, like to say to him, I want to share with you, son, something I've enjoyed many a time, and now you can enjoy it with me.
A
Have a bit of it.
Viennetta.
Exactly. It's just the greatest, isn't it?
Did he love it?
He did. He loved it. He hasn't asked for any more, which I'm slightly concerned about.
Because you've got a whole freezer full.
Yeah, because they were all £1 each at the time. I mean, how can you make a thing of beauty for £1? I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? So, I don't care what anybody says. You may come up with other arguments. There is no better ice cream.
Viennetta.
Number 1.
Yes!
Well, thank you very much, firstly, if you have listened to the previous episodes of the Naughty Bits podcast. I mean, thanks to my wife, she's listened.
Yeah, thanks to my mum and dad, they've listened.
Oh, yeah, my mum and dad have listened as well.
Yeah.
We've got the stats back. And by the way, there are more people than just our family listening.
Never.
I
What,
know.
are there 10 or something?
I don't know the exact numbers. Producer Ollie's the man with the stats. I mean,
Yeah, of
you know.
course he is.
620.
What?
What? Is that you every night sitting at home?
Yeah. Keep tallying them up.
Keep going.
Just listen to it another 4 times now. It'll be fine. So we've actually gone international. Did you know this, Joe?
Never.
We've gone international. We have been listened to in a foreign country.
You're joking me.
Yeah, so I thought we'd play a little game, actually, of guess the random country we've been listened to in.
Oh, brilliant, because I used to be a travel agent. Don't doubt me on travel. It'll be easy for me.
Sure, yeah, because, I mean, every trip you've organised has gone well. So definitely don't doubt Joe on travel. Right, clue number 1 then. The national bird of this country is the pelican.
The pelican.
The pelican is the national bird of this
Oh,
country.
it's not Brazil, is it?
It is not Brazil. You're correct. It is not Brazil.
The pelican.
Why not play along, right, while you're listening as well?
Is it Iceland?
Iceland, the pelican, I don't know. I don't know Iceland well, but I don't think the pelican would survive in Iceland very well.
I don't know.
Sure.
A pelican's the one with the neck like mine that you can smack it about a bit with loads of chins.
That's exactly it. I always think when I see a pelican, nice joke.
You'll think of Deputy Dog, one or the other.
So it's not Brazil. It's not. What did you say? Iceland?
Yeah, it's not Iceland.
From one extreme to the other there, but there you go. Clue 2. The national food of this country is a dish called cuckoo.
Cuckoo?
Now, that's a pairing of fried flying fish and spicy gravy. There's a big clue there.
Is it Greenland? Spicy gravy?
Ah, yes. Of course, spicy gravy, Greenland. Yeah.
Is it India then? I have spicy gravy when I have Indian food.
Is there any logic to these guesses? Have you gone from Iceland to Greenland to India
I'm just
to
thinking,
Brazil?
Spicy.
That's why I knew the game would be so good.
Okay, let's hear some more clues.
So far, clue number 1, the national bird of this country is the pelican. Clue number 2, the national food of this country is cuckoo, which is a pairing of flying fish and spicy gravy. Whoa. Clue 3, the national sport of this country is cricket.
So it's not India. Oh, cricket.
Well, they are very
is
good
it New Zealand?
New Zealand? No, it's not New Zealand.
Are you sure you've got the clues right and you're not meaning an emu?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I meant the kiwi bird.
Yeah, the kiwi
that's
bird.
Right. Yeah, I did.
So they like to play cricket. Oh, hold on.
So think of places that are really good at cricket.
Edgbaston.
Yeah, that's a country.
No,
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
So
Joe's
I
got
know
this.
New Zealand like playing cricket, and I know India like playing
They
cricket,
do.
and Pakistan like playing cricket,
It's not Pakistan.
and the West Indies like playing cricket.
The West Indies do.
Oh, I know.
Like playing
Barbados.
What?
Is it Barbados?
Of the most mental guesses ever, you finally got to the right one. It is Barbados. Barbados is the place we've been listened to, and guess how many people have listened to us in Barbados?
7.
3.
3.
3.
Oh my gosh.
3 people. We have gone international. So,
Wow.
hello, Barbados.
Hello. Can we come and visit? We could do our podcast from your luxury yacht.
I wonder who is listening. Maybe it's the Prime Minister of Barbados.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe it's the lady that works in the telephone exchange.
It's a great
She's
idea,
putting
though,
your
Jo.
call through.
I think we should go and do the podcast live from Barbados, sponsored by the Barbadian Tourist Board.
That would be so good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I never knew the pelican was from Barbados.
Well, there you go. You've learned something today, haven't you?
I certainly have.
Barbados, we're coming for you. We're
Yes.
doing a live version of the podcast.
Watch out. Here we come.
So this is the Naughty Bits podcast, and rather than just hearing naughty stories from us all the time, we want to hear naughty stories from you.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your stories because we tell them all the time, but I'm sure your stories are even funnier than ours.
Well, it really could just be anything at all. I mean, we just want to hear it, really. Message us on Twitter, Facebook or Instagram. Just search, what do you search for, Joe?
Naughty Bits Podcast.
Naughty Bits Pod. I was very close.
It
It's
was.
good,
I was
isn't it?
thinking it was something else then, but I remembered it's not.
No. I won't ask what she thought the other thing was. Sometimes it's just easier not to. Just nod and smile. Nod and smile. Yeah, so if you've got a naughty story for us, we would really love to hear it. I mean, this week's, we've got a story, by the way.
I can't believe
We've got a
it.
story. This week's Naughty Bits listener story comes from Anna in Devon. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
So this is what Anna has to say. Anna writes, "Hi, Joe and Ed. I was listening to your podcast a few weeks ago when you mentioned you were after naughty stories from listeners. And although this story haunts me to this day...
Oh, God, poor girl.
I cannot help laugh at it now, and I thought you might too. So, almost a year ago, I was in London at a festival with my 3-year-old daughter and her godparents, having the time of our lives. There was music and food and things for the kids to do. It was brilliant. It was a great day, you know, the kind of thing.
Yeah, that's nice when you have that feeling and you think, I'm a parent, but I can still have a great time.
Exactly, my life's not over. In the morning of the second day before the festival, me, my daughter and her godparents took a walk to the nearby park to get a coffee, have some breakfast. Out of nowhere, I started to feel as if I'd sat in something wet.
Right.
Which is a bit different, I suppose, isn't it? We hadn't sat down on any of the benches. We were still walking to the cafe, but I just thought I'll ignore that for the time being.
Oh, my God.
Got to the cafe, thought about getting some food. Still had this horrible wet feeling in my knickers that I knew I did not want to sit down in. So I made a beeline for the toilets to find out what was going on. The toilets, of course, were out of order, so I couldn't even check what was going on downstairs.
Oh, does she feel squelchy? I have that feeling a lot.
Oh, I don't feel very well now. I said to everyone, we should get ourselves a coffee and head to another park across the road where I thought there were more toilets. As you probably guessed by now, there were no public toilets in the next park, and I had no other choice but to tell my daughter's godparents that something was going on in my pants. And I was pretty sure it needed sorting sooner rather than later. Now, one of the godparents gave me a bunch of wet wipes and told me to go and hide behind a bin and see what had happened. It turns out I'd pooed my pants.
Oh my God!
I'd pooed my pants without any notice or warning, and I only knew this to be the fact because, well, I'd stuck my hand down my knickers and brought back up what Joe would describe as chicken noir.
Oh my God!
So I hid behind the bin, I slipped my soiled knickers off, binned them, and, well, I started to clean up aisle 2.
Oh,
which is nice.
God!
While I was doing this, the godparents were watching from afar in hysterics and taking pictures of me struggling to cope with the amount of fluid that had seeped out of me. I mean, this is a serious event that's just happened by the sound of things. I was out at a festival for the rest of the day. I didn't want to cancel any of the fun at all, so I popped into a Tesco around the corner, bought some extra large Tena Ladies to keep me safe until the evening. 48 hours went by and I'd suffered a few leaks here and there, but nothing as major as the first incident in the park.
Oh my God!
Finally, I'd been 24 hours clear of any spillages and no messes whatsoever, so I was very sure I was ready to sleep the whole night through without any problem. I removed my extra large Tena Lady from my pants and went to bed safe and sound. 5 minutes later,
Oh no.
I farted myself awake and for the final time shat the bed.
But something similar, Anna, happened to me on holiday because everybody kept saying to us, go to this sulphur spa, which so it's outside and it's like this, anyone can go, you didn't even have to pay, and you go into this sulphur thing and it cleanses you. So it said it's really good for your skin, it's really good for your circulation. And so Paul said to me, I'm not going in there, and the little kids couldn't go in, so my daughter couldn't. So my son said, as he watched this lady in Italy with a thong on and big bazookas walk into the thing, I'll come with you, Mum. So off we went into this sulphur spa thing. It's like, it said it was a spa, but it was outside, just in like this national park.
Sounds lovely, yeah.
Yeah, so we went in and we had a really nice time. We were in there in our swimming stuff, came out, and I said to Paul, wow, it smelt a bit mentholy, but I said, I don't feel any different. I said to George, how is it? So have your spots cleared up in there? And he went, yeah, it's all right. I feel a bit more refreshed. Anyway, so we walked down then to this lake, all of us, and there was this jetty and we were all going to jump off the jetty, and there was other people there as well because it was packed, and the Italians like to be very noisy and all crowd in and everything. And so Lottie jumped off the jetty, she got back on, that's my daughter, my son was swimming around, so was my husband, and I was stood there about to get in. I thought, I don't want to jump in and all the lake come out. So I just stood there contemplating it, and the similar thing happened to me as it happened to Anna. I felt wet, but a horrendous stench. Horrendous. And I looked down and there was poo running down my leg, like you see, of a baby. I couldn't even feel it coming out. It was just running down my leg. Because at first I looked and I thought it was just water from being in the sulphur thing. Yeah. But worse than that, Ed, I'm stood there going, oh my God, there's poo coming down my leg. And my daughter's nearly drowning, going, Mummy, it's like yellow poo going down your leg.
Oh, wow.
But a pack of dogs from nowhere, well, I say a pack, there was 3, came running towards me down this jetty, and I'm on the end like Augustus Gloop, and in my swimming stuff with poo down my legs. And Paul's going, just jump in. And Lottie's going to me, do not jump in with poo on your legs. And my son's going, I can't stand this anymore. And my husband's going, Joe, please just jump in. And these dogs out of nowhere came along, and they came running round my legs, and then put their noses right up my bottom. Like I'm clenching my teeth now because I was going, get away like this with my mouth clenched. Their noses were so far up my bottom. Dogs. And I don't like dogs anyway, but they were absolutely loving what was coming out of my bottom.
Did they get a taste?
They did get a taste. They licked up my legs, and that was just enough for me, and I dived in.
Well, at least they gave you a wash.
had a wash.
A wash.
A wash.
That's good.
Oh, it was disgusting. The most disgusting thing. And then I said to this lady who was staying in the place near us, how much does it cost for laundry in here? And she said to me, I cannot launder those. No.
Burn them.
Goodbye, swimming costume.
Well, thanks for that story about stuff coming out of you, Joe, and dogs lapping it up. I mean, that's lovely. That's lovely.
It was disgusting. It's making me twitch thinking about it.
No, me too. But otherwise, I thought that went quite well, don't you? No,
well, yeah, lovely Anna sent in her letter. And it was
good.
really just so that Anna felt better about herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I told my side.
Of course, that's the only reason you told that story at all. So that was nice, but what did we learn, really, apart from not going in sulphur pools for Joe?
We've learnt about Viennetta ice cream and how it's made and how we want to go to the Viennetta factory.
I mean, yeah, I could just stand at the end of the conveyor belt and they could pour Viennetta into my mouth.
Yeah, and we've also learnt there's people listening in Barbados and we're going to go out there.
That's very exciting. And we've also learned that Joe is not rich from PPI.
Yes, so let's not talk about that.
Yeah, it's a bit upsetting because the deadline's now passed. You can't get in there anyway. We will be back with another episode of the Naughty Bits podcast next week. Until then, though, be sure to rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Actually, you can follow us too, not in real life, just on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. So search at Naughty Bits Pod. You can subscribe as well, can't you, Joe?
Yeah, to Brain Dead Podcasts.
Whereabouts is that on then?
YouTube.
That's the one on that YouTube, isn't it? We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.